Hey guys, yes, it's a radio, not a TV. However, it's associated with a TV. This is the AM FM radio that goes with that giant 19-inch metal cone Capehart TV I got working a while back. So, a couple things. One, we're going to wrap up the radio, and then I'm going to install the full-size CRT, because you've only seen it with the little baby 5-inch guy installed. So this is a radio chassis C-282 AM FM, but it's all self-contained. Own power transformer, rectifier. We got 6V6 power amp output too. Ooh, push-pull 6V6. Alright. I don't have the antenna, so I'll have to be careful and see. Does this need an output transformer or not? And I don't think it's a field coil speaker. So that's the tube chart. Here's the schematic. Let's see. A permanent magnet speaker. Okay, it looks like there's an RCA jack, if I'm reading that right. Let's see. Now we got inputs. So I think the sound output from the TV plugs into the back of this. Let's take a look. Also, this has been somewhat restored in the past, just like the TV had been. So it's got some new wiring going on, and has some new caps. But I was reviewing the work, and there are some issues that I would like to resolve. One, we still have two Bumblebee caps, and those are going on the AC line to the chassis, so we definitely want to replace those. Yeah, we can see them right here in the schematic. Talking about these two guys. I don't know why those weren't replaced when whoever recapped this recapped it. They used a variety of different capacitor types for replacements. So we've got some, what I think are actually sprig atom drops, and we got some weird looking blue ones. We got an ancient one down in there. So I'll review all those. And I think the electrolytic has been replaced, but a long time ago. So I might want to do that too. Otherwise, it looks to be in good shape. And some interesting things about the wiring. So back when this was made, coax had been invented, but I don't think it was all that commonly used. So what they did on this, there's the phono and TV RCA input jacks over here, is we've got two signals, one for TV, one for phono, and then the ground, they took the, looks like cloth covered wire, and just coiled it around there, I assume for shielding, to sort of make like a coax cable. Similarly, over here, there's a capacitor inside that, and it's wrapped by just a grounded bit of wire. At least I think that's just ground. Sort of. It's going to the volume control. So it's the coupling cap to the volume control, and it's got wire wrapped around it. It's probably going to ground, but I'll have to track it down. Yeah, it took me a while to find the volume control. So this thing has a few controls. It actually has a separate bass and treble potentiometer. And then there's the volume. It's a dual gang 3.2 meg pot. There's a 0.01 microfarad coupling cap, but they don't show any kind of shielding or coil around it or anything. So, yeah. Anyways, we'll just leave it alone. See how the radio plays without it. And that is the output transformer. Good. Sometimes that's mounted on the frame of the speaker, which I do not have, but we got it, so I'll just hook up a substitute speaker and we'll be good to go with that. Yeah, otherwise I'm not seeing anything that really jumps out at me as being a problem. So, but definitely want to get rid of those bumblebees before I even try powering this up, because I do not want one of those to pop on me. So let's get those out of there and replace them with some safety type caps. I replaced those two caps on the line, reviewed the rest, didn't see anything alarming, so I proceeded to connect up a test speaker to the RCA output. I have it plugged into my PR57, so let's fire this up. Oh yeah, the dial string is also needs to get replaced. I don't know if I mentioned that. So it's one of my favorite things to do. So just turn it on here, turn the volume up a bit, and power. Okay, current one up, one down. As the tubes heat up, start conducting, the current draw is going up. Staying stable, got a little bit of hum out of the speaker. Let's try to turn the volume up more. Yep. It's alive. Dirty volume control. Alright, modes. So we have fully counterclockwise and going clockwise. We have telephone, phono, AM, FM. I believe this does use a loop antenna for the, it plugs into an RCA jack, I think, for the AM. I don't have that, so I'm not so sure I can fully test the AM properly. I've got some loop antennas around here, at least one. We can try clipping it in, but if it's not the right LC for this radio, the right impedance, whatever, it might not work out so well. Anyways, so that's power volume. Okay, that's not a mode switch, so alright, it seems to be live and no smoke, so let's see if we can get it to do something. It's a volume control. Hear a bit of a hum going up with the volume. Yeah, the hum's getting louder. Okay, so this has different modes. There's a rotary switch on it. Here it is in the schematic. So fully counterclockwise, we have television, then going clockwise, we have phono, AM, FM. Needs a loop antenna for AM, which I don't have. I think I have one from a different set I can try clipping in, but for now we can try FM radio. So we have fully counterclockwise, so maybe TV, phono, AM. Hey, dial lights came on. That's cool. Now we can hear a little bit of a hiss. I'll tune this manually since the dial cord's broken. Oh. How about that? Oh, my hand's acting as an antenna as I get it near the RF circuits. Alright. Whoa.
Which, again, par for the course, will almost assassinate your character. Man, I'm thinking twice about that.
Well, Josh Hawley was...
Alright. Even with no antenna, I'm getting something. I gotta say, this is a pretty robust design for an AM/FM radio. And one nice thing that makes it easier to work on if we needed to do any troubleshooting is this uses separate coils for AM versus FM. That's why you see 6 cans in there. Shortly after this was made, pretty much everybody moved to dual, where the AM and FM coils are inside the same can, and depending on the mode they tap different places inside that transformer. But this is like totally separate AM and FM circuits, sort of. I mean, they do use tubes for common IF, but in between the stages they have separate 455 and 10.7. Anyways, I digress. Let's get back to this and try FM. got a lead here clipped onto the AM, the FM antenna input. Terrible antenna, but it's something. So let's try tuning. Yeah. By the way, what I'm doing when I'm tuning is there's a big wheel here attached to the variable cap. Oh, that's where the dial cord should be. I'm doing this.
Inbound from Madison 294. The two right lanes are closed from 12 a.m. until 6. Entrance.
Sounds pretty good. I'm curious to see if this has two peaks on the FM reception, like other vintage FM radios I've worked on. I think so.
Variety 101.9.
Anyways, that's good. I wasn't planning having to do a lot of radio troubleshooting. Alright, so it's not dead. Now what? I want to test all the tubes. We could have some weak tubes in there. We could be getting even better performance. I'm going to look back under the chassis and I'll go through and check resistors, and I actually had to order up a dial cord. It should be here shortly, and then we will try to do this. Oh man, did I get a stringing diagram? I don't recall seeing one. Oh man. I'll have to do a little research. I'm not that great at doing dial stringing, but having a diagram is something. We've got nothing. I could guess as to how it goes, but I'd rather not, because we have a pulley here, a big wheel, a pulley there, and probably pulleys down on the bottom, so 4 pulleys, and the wheel, and then of course the tuning control, which is it that guy? I don't know. I think it is. Anyways, yeah, it's a little. I'd rather not have to guess, is what I'm trying to say. Well, I was sort of able to test the tubes. Explain what I mean. These tubes are correct, tested fine, we're good there. These guys, some are the wrong type tube, and some I can't read. This 9-pin should be a 12AT7, it's a 12AZ7. Yeah, it's in the same family, but very different characteristics, so that's going to get replaced. That would be for the FM oscillator. It's a high-frequency dual triode. This guy, it's one I can't read. It's a bit of white smudged printing. I've tried all the tricks. There's sort of something etched in there, but it just, if what I'm reading or interpreting is right, it's not the right kind of tube that should be in this. Also found a 6AU6. This does not use any 6AU6s. This is another one that I just could not read. I had red printing at some point. And yeah, this is the 6AU6. So what should we have? We should have a 6BA6. There's a 12AT7 where I found an AZ7. We should have a 6BA6, another 6BA6, and a 6BE6. We have one good 6BA6. Gonna replace the rest of them, so I need to dig up 2 more 6BA6s, 6BE6 converter, and a proper 12AT7. I suspect one of these must be a 6BE6 converter. There's really nothing else that would sub for it. A 6AU6 is similar to a 6BA6, so I could see that working in its place. Very, very similar looking. Just by eyeballing that, I would think that, I think it looks like that's a 6AU6, but a 6BA6, And the 6, there's a few other tube types in that family that look similar. And this guy looks a little different. This is probably a 6BE6. But whether 6BA6, 6AU6, something else, just can't tell. And when in doubt, they're the common enough tubes. I'll just grab some new ones. Took a little while, but I did track down a set of new tubes of the type as indicated on the tube chart. So let's give it a try. Again, FM mode. Oh, that sounds really good. And it's treble control, I think. Bass, yeah, it's working. See if I get flagged for copyright for that.
It's Peter Gabriel with Salisbury Hill on 93 WXRT. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I read that song's about a spiritual experience. Standing around on top of Salisbury Hill in Somerset, England.
Well, that would be trouble.
And,
so,
I have
yeah.
been there.
Along the small street with fancy flowers.
Again, this is with basically no antenna.
Shared on social media. I mean, it's likely we will all see more of her.
Song for
I'm at the end of myself.
Alright, so leaves the last major task. Well, some cleaning and lubrication on things, but that dial cord. So I examined it a little bit more. So you can see there's a spring down in there and the remains of the cord. And then I was wrong, we do not have pulleys at the bottom. We have a pulley here, we have a pulley here, and then we have the tuning shaft there. So I'm not sure if it loops around like in an L shape, or does it come down at an angle, or yeah, not exactly. Alright, I think we have everything we need to tackle this broken dial string. I went back to the riders where I found the TV service info, located the radio chassis C-282, and there is a dial string diagram. However, it's showing it from the front, which got me confused at first till I realized, oh, you take off 4 screws, remove the dial glass, and this front actually comes off. And now we can see our pulley here, and one down there, and our drum, and here's where the dial string goes. So we've got this, it's slightly different from what they show here, but I don't know if this is a different spring arrangement or things evolve, but they show a single spring being clipped on, and then 2 dial cords branching out. Here we actually have 2 separate springs, both ends of which are attached to the dial cord, and they go off. So regardless, we need to take a new piece of dial string and connect it to that spring, and then we go up and around and down to the tuning shaft and do 2.5 turns around that. Go around that pulley, then around that pulley, then around that pulley, and then come back to the drum and connect it up to that spring again. And here's what we have left. Now, just by trying to run this around to the pulleys, realized it's not the full length. So the one thing they don't tell you on this is how long is a dial string. Well, I went out and I bought 12 feet of what looks to be the same diameter. So what we're going to do is free up one end, take off a bunch. We're going to remove the old dial string. We're going to tie one end on this, run it around, wrap it around, kind of guesstimate how much tension should be on this spring, and tie it off, and we'll see how it works. But I also need to figure out how to connect this in, which they don't show you on this. I've seen some variations on this. The dial cord where they show it going along the top needs to connect up to this, which slides back and forth. Now this is also pretty rough. It's because this rod has become corroded. I rotated it around. This is originally the top surface. If you look at the bottom, it's rather smooth. So I'm going to try using some CLR on this, or at least some cleaner, because this kind of comes off. I don't know exactly what this is. If it's just dust that's settled on it and, and reacted with the plating, or what. You kind of just scrape it off. It's kind of weird. So I'll try a few different cleaning products. We want to make this smooth so that this runs back and forth easily. Right now it's pretty rough because that will put tension on the string, and that might be why it broke. We want everything to be smooth. We want all these pulleys to run smooth. This is going pretty good now. And with this front off, I can get at those bearings a little better and put a little more oil grease in there. But that's why these Breakers people, of course, go to an old radio. Hey, let's see how it tunes, and they do this, and the string snaps because the bearings have dried out, the pulleys have seized up. This is getting stiff. But anyways, back to it. So how does this ride along? Before we put on the new string, I'm going to do some cleaning, as I mentioned earlier, about this rod. I'm doing a little test cleaning in other areas. I'm using CLR. I've been using this on everything lately. Great job on cleaning corroded metal of the type you find in old radios and TV chassis. So applying some to this rod. So whatever this baked on gunk is on here, it's coming off very nicely. And you can see what this also does to the chassis. That spotting on there, that is from the plating failing, basically. Not much you can do about that. If you were to aggressively polish this with some metal cleaner, you'd probably just end up taking whatever plating is left on there off completely. So, you know, it's really not going to be visible inside the set, but if you want to try cleaning it, don't be surprised if that's what you end up with. You're not always going to get gleaming metal when you clean it. We're not chrome plated or anything like that. But this is what I mostly care about, because I want that pointer to slide smoothly. Now, when I was looking through those stringing guides, they also mentioned about the importance of having this clean and smooth, and they recommended putting some type of light lubrication on, some wax, some Vaseline, something to have this slide with as little drag as possible. So we will do the same. So I'm just applying this, letting it sit for a minute or so, and then wiping it off. And most of the gunk is coming right off. Without having to use any sort of abrasive or anything like that. And it is considerably smoother. It's not perfect though, so I will use Brasso or something like that on it, and then apply some light oil lubricant. Something like this would work fine. They make a flavor. That's actually, I think it's the same thing. They just label it differently. But for bicycle chains, also made by Bow Shield, it's just a slightly different name. This is wax in a type of solvent. It's very thin, easy to apply. I often put this on chassis after I clean them, and that. The solvent will evaporate a bit, and it leaves a thin waxy coating, and there you go. After cleaning off this rod, I put on T9 lubricant, and this slides oh so nice now. Now for the dial string. Took one spring, one end of the dial, new dial string, and tied a knot in it. And went around and around and around and came around up here. Now, as far as how does this hook onto this? I've tried a few different ways. I don't know if this is right, but it's by far and away the easiest possible way to do it, which is just do that. And that provides a bit of an upward force, which when this is taut, you'll see this, it kicks this up a bit, which I think makes sense. It's also very easy to do and undo while it's in place. So now I just need to run this around, and I already did a test fitting. I tied it to the other end of this. Here it is with the dial glass reinstalled. Dial pointer not attached to anything right now, and I gotta believe they're going with just the simplest approach is correct. I also noticed that there are some black marks along the top here where this sometimes rubs a little bit. So let's go with one extreme on the tuning dial, put this where that black registration mark ends. Right now the dial string is going underneath this, simply going to lift it up and over. Now it does want to kick it out a little bit, as I noted earlier, but with dial glass in place, I really just don't think it's an issue. And when we get to the other end, it stops right where that other, where the black mark ends. So I think this is right. Now I'm in FM mode right now. I installed new dial lamps, number 47 bulbs. If we go to AM and FM, they change nicely. I've got it turned on, I have an antenna hooked up. Let's go to a station I'm familiar with and see what the dial pointer is accurate. That would be XRT, which is 93.1. Copyright violation, so we go 90, 92, 94, 93 would be just a hair. So I'm going to slide this just slightly over. About there. And let's try something further down the line. So 105.9 is 24/7 news.
Traveling on the Kennedy, we're going to call it slow from
Right
Canfield
there.
out to Harlem.
And
2 minutes in from O'Hare, 33 from the
yeah,
US
I mean 105.9, it's like right there. See if we go there. So 80, lowest station would be MeTV FM, which is really the old Channel 6 analog. It's kind of off the end of the dial. It's 87.7, I think. Not sure if you'll get it with this radio. Yeah, I don't know if it goes quite that low.
Clients are matched with one of 30 therapists for online therapy.
It's back in 93.1. Yeah, right about 93. It's a WFMT classic station. I don't quite remember what their frequency is, but something else we can do, of course, is to fire up an RF generator and dial something in on that. So let's put in 90 megahertz. Basically, I'm just trying to check the dial tracking and turn on FM modulation and see if we can pick up a tone. I was just wondering if I could pick up anything without an actual output connector attached, and no. So let me grab a BNC cord. Lay that near the antenna. It's just a BNC with alligator clips and a dummy load on the end. Is 75 ohms, or 47 ohms rather. Yeah, 47 ohms. 50 ohm output impedance on that. But I don't have a 50 ohm resistor handy, so that should kick out something. altitude. There it is. Alright, so that's a 90. That is off a little bit. I'm also curious how low can we go with this. So there's 88 now out of my RF generator. Oh, there it is. Alright, let's do 89. Yep. Let's jump up a little. Let's do 94. Pretty close. Slightly off.
Now open for our 30th season, and we've...
100's dead on. Alright. Let's go to 107. Dead on. So yeah, the tracking on this dial is remarkably accurate. And just to double check, let's go back down to 89. There it is. Alright, cool. Let's check AM. Remember, no loop antenna, but I think we can pick up something. Okay, rigged up an antenna for AM. Just a 4-foot long piece of wire for now. And I switched my RF generator to AM modulation on 1 megahertz right now. AM mode, turn it up a bit. That's got to be for my shop lights. Oh yeah. Alright, let's just be in the dark for a bit. There's my 1 megahertz test tone. Yeah, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. We do have reception.
Elder son, he had to get 4 vaccinations.
Be much better with a proper loop antenna, but even with a straight wire. I mean, the support's either, I realize we're looking at the schematic. If you have a loop antenna, which I assume is in the cabinet that this came out of, you should use that, but otherwise they have various antenna connections on the back and you can just use a straight wire, which is what I have now.
$4 million from the state, that's still a ton.
Alright, so let's take our RF generator and dial it down. Seven.
A lot more. Maybe you did it later in life.
Let's go a bit lower. Let's get a 570. I'm trying to pick numbers that don't have stations that would interfere. Because we have an AM 560.
Works.
There it is. 55. Yeah, that's right about 57. Let's go the other way. Let's do 1500.
Production.
Slightly off, not enough that I'm concerned. It's like 152 instead of 150. What would I do if it was off? Why am I checking this? Well, I'll show you. Man, the shop lights. Alright, so mainly I'm just checking the tracking just to see is it pretty accurate before I give this back to the customer. If you wanted perfection, I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but these are the variable caps for tuning, right? Notice the outer ones have slots in them. you can take these and bend and distort them a little bit to fix it if it's off. So what you would do is put this in the center and get that lined up well, and then you can bend in or out the wedges on the high and low ends to adjust the tracking to make it as linear as you possibly can. These have been slightly tweaked a little bit, I can tell by looking at them. In particular, I can see this guy, it's been kind of bent outwards, so they must have gotten good tracking on either end. They decided to take the middle and push it out a little bit that way. You can drive yourself nuts trying to get that absolutely perfect. So I'm saying it's good enough. If it's within a couple % of where it should be, that's plenty good enough after all. I would think most people look on here maybe just to get in the ballpark, and then they tune it in by ear to get that final little bit. Alright, so that's going to be it for now. Next installment, perhaps we'll do a little bit of an alignment touch-up, and then we are going to hook it up to the TV, which is this guy. So when I got this set working, I used a little 5-inch test CRT. This is the full-on 19-inch 19AP4 metal cone picture tube. I've only worked on one ever before that was quite this large. I've done a few 16s, but only one other 19. And I don't think that was years ago. I don't think I was making videos when I did that. But at any rate, it's something to behold. One, a black and white image that large, and two, to have that much surface area with thousands of volts on it. So I'll be looking for that in the next installment. Thanks for watching.